Welcome back to Coach's Corner here at USC Aiken. I'm your host, Morgan Lifchez, and joining us today is Coach Alexander from the men's basketball team. Coach Alexander, while we want to talk about tonight, let's first reflect on last season. How big was it for the program to win the conference championship, the tournament championship, regional title, and advance the school's first ever Final Four?
Well, it was really important because from the beginning, we set those goals at the end of that previous season. When we made it to the Elite Eight, we set the goal to return and not go lower than what we were the previous year. So it was really important, and you know, thank God we were able to accomplish that. I think it was a great accomplishment. It would have meant even more if we'd won that game and gotten to the national championship game and played for that. But nevertheless, it is a great thing, and we were certainly blessed to accomplish that.
One step at a time, you know. So tonight at Pacer Madness, we will get to see your team for the first time. And although they won't be scrimmaging, can you give us some general insight about your newcomers?
Well, I think we're quick. I think we shoot the ball well, you know, whereas last year we had one really good shooter. I think now we have 4 or 5 good shooters who I think will become really good shooters. So I think that's a great thing about us. You know, we can press a little bit more, whereas last year we didn't press as much because we had to save Devontae Wright as much as possible because he had to play a lot of minutes. Whereas this year we can really get up and put pressure on teams. So I think we could get back to doing some things that we like to do, putting pressure on teams offensively and defensively. And at the same time, we're not as big right now as we were last year, so we have to play small ball, which is okay with us.
Good. Grant Harris was a role player last year, but he earned valuable playing time, including in the region championship game. How much has that helped him in terms of confidence for this year?
Well, I think it's helped Grant. Of course, when you've played on 2 Elite Eight teams, 1 Final Four team, and you play with tremendous leaders like Raymond Nelson and Devontae Wright, Jesse Solin, when you've played under the leadership of those guys, of course you've gained some valuable insights into how we do things and our expectations. So I think he has done a tremendous job of taking those things and trying to apply that to this year's team. We've told him that, you know, he and Hendricks are the only 2 who have gone to the Elite Eight, and you know, these guys need to know how to get there. So it's your job to teach them. So I think he's trying, and you know, hopefully it's going to pay off for him and for us.
And we are less than a month away from your first game of the season with a lot of new players, like we've already talked about. How quickly will you implement everything that you need? You know, is it going to be a general understanding, or is there usually a big learning curve for your players?
Yeah, there's a learning curve. I mean, we hope to have our guys where we need them to be when it's this many newcomers. We hope to have them ready by conference. And we play a tough preseason schedule. And we are doing that once again this season. We're playing a very tough preseason schedule. So we're hoping that our guys develop and learn very quickly. And then by conference time, we hope that they're, you know, ready to go and that they are, you know, where we need them to be.
And tonight, what can we expect to see at Pacer Madness?
I really, I don't know. You know, I don't know what you can expect to see. I mean, it's a young team, a lot of new guys, a lot of guys who have experience, but they don't have experience playing Pacer style. So I don't really know. You know, I think you're going to see, one thing you will see is that we're a fairly athletic team, and we are a team that shoot the ball real well. So I think those 2 things you can get out of this year's team for sure. And hopefully more later.
And what does October 15th mean for you as a coach and for your team?
Well, it just means that we get a little bit more time to prepare them and get them ready, as opposed to 2 hours a week. Now we now have, you know, 20 hours a week that we can use to get them ready and get them prepared You can spend a little extra time in the gym with them now, teaching them, hoping that they learn the things that you need them to learn very quickly, and not only learn them quickly, but learn to do them well.
Mm-hmm. And you have a couple of new assistant coaches. Can you tell me a little bit more about them?
Oh, I'm very excited about our coaching staff. We have two new assistants who I think are going to do a phenomenal job. I think they're both great basketball players or former players, and they bring a very unique thing with them in that they played for me. They both played for me at different places, wow. And that they have just an awesome ability to teach, and they're close to their playing careers are not too far off from them playing 4 years for one and maybe 6 or 7 years, 8 years for another. I'm not real sure, somewhere in there, but they are very experienced, and they're great teachers. I think they're going to be a great asset to the university, to the community, and certainly to our basketball program.
Okay. Well, one last thing I'd like to talk about is that you have a tip-off banquet coming up, and can you talk to us a little bit about that and about your guest speaker?
Yeah, well, our tip-off banquet is October the 30th, and certainly we hope to get a lot of Pacer fans out there. We were hoping to have you work, but you certainly have class, which we respect. But nevertheless, it's an opportunity for our fans to get to meet our players, especially with so many new players. They get an outlook about our team, of our expectations with this team, get to meet each and every player, all the new coaches. And then we have a phenomenal speaker this year in Rick Duran, who was a firefighter in 911. He was actually on the cover of a magazine, from 911. So, we know that he can bring some things that relate to basketball as they did to 911, being on a team and, having to, work collaboratively together. And, so we're hoping that our fans will get an opportunity to hear that message, and also it will motivate our players at the same time. So.
Well, that sounds like it's going to be a great banquet. I'm sorry that I have to miss it.
That's okay.
But thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
Once again, this is Coach's Corner. For the latest update on your Pacer athletes, be sure to tune in every week. We'll see you next time.